Hello, and welcome to the overview of our new deal type EagleView. As usual, you'll click the blue New Lead button at the top left and enter the contact information. Make sure you use a valid email address and phone number. These can be updated at a later time if you do not have the customer's details. You may use a personal email or phone. Do not use the email with which you use to access Enerflo. Start typing the project address and options will pop up for you to select from. City, state, and zip code will be automatically filled in. Then, under Start Deal, select EagleView V2 if it is not the default setting. After clicking Continue, you'll be loaded into the V2 platform. Next, the pre-qualification form is used for the basic design request details. The homeowner must own the land for solar, hence making a mobile home ineligible. Following, the number of stories above ground, which does not include basements. Anything above 2 stories will be an adder. Next, indicate the roof condition, age of the roof. Under the mounting type, if you select roof, the roof type options will load below. The additional cost for each option is right there at the end in parentheses. Following, you can use this section below for general notes. Next up, we have additional services. The questions in this section have default answers to speed up the design request process for you. You may return to update this deal section at any time prior to signing the deal. You may use this field to upload any reference files that you might have related to potential adders selected. If you're not able to complete the sales team site assessment at the end of this survey, please select No to the first question. If there is a detached garage or barn, answer yes to the question about multiple structures. If you'd like to include a critter guard, simply click yes to the question. The electrical adders are all grouped here. A main panel upgrade has a standard price. If selected, another field will pop up for notes. Other adders may require a quote. For example, a main panel relocation will require consideration of how far we need to move it. For other electrical adders, feel free to reach out to our solar engineers to see if a line site tap or service cable upgrade makes sense for your specific project needs. For an EV charger, there is a base cost of $4,500. This may change depending on the scope of work. If you plan to select or have selected battery options in the equipment settings of your design request, then please say yes to the battery backup requested question and provide notes or images below. If you answer no to the first ground rod question, then you may provide photos of under the meter and we will let you know. In some situations, you may actually need to install an additional ground rod. If you select yes to Is a re-roof included, you'll be prompted if you would like Green Brilliance to provide the quote or not. If not, then please provide the third-party roofing contractor name and contact information. Input the quote amount and provide any relevant notes. This field is for the scheduled date of roof work. It is not required at this time, but will help us manage the logistics of your installation. The same format applies to the tree services section. Provide notes, quotes, or files as necessary, indicated by a red asterisk next to the question. Wrapping up the additional services form, there is a section for other additional costs, which may not be included above. Provide notes and a quote, then complete the form by clicking the blue button Next. Next up, we have the consumption page, which is where you'll enter all the usage history. Select the utility from the drop-down menu. An estimate is generated by the square footage specified. You can find the actual square footage of the home on a real estate website, such as Zillow. For each month of actual usage history that you enter, the estimate will rebalance when you click Apply. The more months of actual usage, the more accurate our proposed offset will be. Use the blue button in the top right to upload a utility bill, and we're on our way to the design request. Here, you'll be able to select from multiple design types by clicking Design Tools. The EagleView option features 3D modeling, irradiance mapping, and customizable layouts. Click Submit Order and answer each question. First, select your measurement instructions, then Panel, Inverter, and finally Battery options. If you have any special instructions, you may add them in the field below and click Submit. It is important to note that EagleView does not support ground mounts, and it is limited to major cities and suburban areas. If EagleView data is not available, you will be notified during the design request process or sometime after via a canceled design request. It may take a few seconds to load. Just give it a chance and wait for it to come back with a successful order notification. Alternatively, you can select a design from our in-house design team by clicking here. This option is ideal for expedited requests, ground mounts, and other uniquely challenging situations. Select the due date, the roof and mounting type, and then your inverters, panels, and batteries on the next screen. The consumption data is going to link to the consumption data provided in the previous step. So if there's no changes, you may just click Next and provide any additional notes that might help the designer here. Design time may vary. However, EagleView has recently started delivering designs in the 1 to 6 hour range. So we'll come back to show you what that looks like shortly. Return to the Design Requests tab and look for the green completed tag, which indicates that the EagleView design is ready to be configured. Before we look at the proposal, let's review the preview page. This is the only place where you may make changes to the system's panel or setback options. Once you enter the proposal, it will no longer update Enerflow's deal data. The EagleView design that's presented on the left is an iframe. Essentially, there are two different platforms communicating to generate the design, proposal, and contract. To ensure your contract matches your design, you will need to update both the design options and modify equipment. This sidebar pops out to allow changes to panels and setbacks. Once you've made a change, click the Apply All button to see the change reflected on the design. Finally, click Modify Equipment under the three dots in the top right. In this example, the panel type is not updated on Enerflo yet. Next, you can further customize the design within the EagleView iframe. If we click on this button up here, then we can toggle on and off roof facets. By clicking the eyeball, entire facets can be toggled on and off. Zoom in and out with multi-touch gestures or the plus or minus buttons. You can grab and drag this cube to change the three-dimensional perspective. Use the button above the plus sign to return back to the default view. In the top right corner, there are controls which turn off the roof labels, the base image, and remove the irradiance gradient on the roof to highlight individual panel performance. The wider the panel is, the higher the performance, which coincides with the percentage displayed on each. You can select and drag panels within the dotted lines which represent fire setbacks. These include roof rakes, roof ridges, hips, valleys, and obstructions, such as chimneys, vents, and skylights, all based on EagleView's very precise measurements. Be careful to only select panels that you would like to adjust, as multiple panels can be selected at a time. Once you're ready, click Sync Design and then move to the Proposal tab to create a proposal within the design. After the Design Request tab of the deal, the Design tab will have all uploaded designs. You'll also be able to see other designs which have been uploaded for you by our internal sales team on this design page. Then we need to create a proposal using that design. So I'll select it here from the top and select a financing method. We'll start with cash, end with cash, and go through a few variations. So in this case, we have a 22.2 kilowatt system. We can review data points that have been submitted in the survey previously or calculated by the handy design tool. There's quite a bit of information here, so I will let you review privately. Make sure that you've clicked Update Pricing and have a green check mark. And then let's click the View Proposal button. Then the Proposal Design tool at the top will bring you to this dashboard that has the EagleView iframe. In the top right, you'll see the production is over 29,000 and the consumption estimate is just under 25,000.
So we can go in and delete some more panels. And we can use the heat map here to identify potential low performance panels first. Next, we'll probably want to target the arrays which are furthest from the main system. The design is using the actual length and width of the panels, as well as the pitch of the roof to calculate how much space it's going to take up on the 3D model of the roof. Using these edit options, you may rotate, delete, or duplicate to find a combination which best fits the customer's preferences. If you're looking at this and thinking, hold on a second, I'm not a solar engineer, and this just looks a bit complicated, no worries. Our design team will be reviewing EagleView design requests and providing assistance in creating the optimal design. EagleView will upgrade the algorithm to improve the aesthetics in future versions. As you can see here, I now have a system which is offsetting 100% of the client's energy needs for the household. But there are no street-facing solar panels. So there is one more option over here. The DSM is going to let us know if this tree on the left-hand side is a major concern. It is on the north side, so it won't be causing any shade, but we can rotate around the building and we can see any other possible shade concerns, whether they are buildings or trees. If you are presenting to a client or potential customer, I recommend you reduce the sidebar by clicking the arrow on the right side. That'll give you the nicest preview for your proposal. EagleView on the Enerflo V2 platform uses the same proposal and contracting tools which you're used to. If this is the first time that you're seeing the Enerflo proposal, then I encourage you to review the study guide, which has notes on the information which is presented on each of these subsections. You may click and interact with the proposal and tailor the presentation to maximize your value proposition and compel the owner to consider the value of going solar. The Why Solar slide has some options which allow you to quantify the amount which could be spent over the years on the client's utility bill and how a long-term return on investment truly does make sense in the bigger picture going solar. The traditional power slide is going to help you explain the benefits of having a solar power plant on your rooftop. And gives you an opportunity to explain all the costs which go into delivering electricity through the grid. The solar power slide will help you explain what net metering means. It demonstrates the flow of electricity from your panels to the grid or the grid to your home. And if you have a battery on the project, it may include multiple configurations for that as well. My favorite, the Your Bill slide, will have a copy of the bill, which you've uploaded, or a digital version here based on the consumption information that's been reported and a calculation here of the 30-year cost of doing nothing. The Your Bill is Increasing slide breaks it down on a month-by-year basis and shows you what a 4% increase in electricity actually looks like over the next 20 years. The increase really does add up. It's just hard to notice from one year to another. The Home Design page has a preview of the EagleView design which has been made. However, you do not have the same view that you have in this proposal tool. You've got a brief overview of the system, size, equipment, and offset, the essential information. The production versus consumption slide shows you how much electricity the solar panels are making each month versus how much the home consumes. The financial impact slide has several interactions that you should definitely click and see to how you might want to present this. What you want to do is to compare the potential savings versus the cost of doing nothing over the life of the solar panel warranty and beyond. The environmental impact slide just gives you another way to quantify the impact of going solar. The financing terms slide has multiple editable options which you will use to make changes to tailor the deal. After making a design request, only edit the pricing for the deal here to ensure your contract generates properly. You may click on the name of the financing product inside the blue box to open options. You can switch between cash and financing, then a specific financing rate in the pop-up. Next, note the lock symbol on the right above the price summary table. The base price per watt, which determines the margin on the deal, can be changed by clicking the Edit button next to System Cost. There are drop-downs to review additional services and incentives. The Info button next to the price summary is only available to the sales representative when accessing the proposal. It opens a sidebar breaking down the price per watt and total cost of all components to the deal. Adders should be edited and applied by answering the deal survey. The Edit button next to the gross system cost should only be available to company or office administrators, as it edits both the gross price per watt and the base price per watt to target a specific total contract price. If this is mistakenly edited as the base price per watt, there may be a negative margin on the project. It is useful when the total system cost exceeds the maximum amount which may be financed. For good leave, that's $135,000 for top credit scores. If this amount is exceeded, the monthly payment will show as $0. Once the pricing has been reviewed, you may jump straight to the financing application by clicking Apply Now. Alternatively, you can continue to the next slide, which covers frequently asked questions. Using these sections when discussing common concerns, the homeowners can always reference the information when sharing with other decision makers. Finally, another interactive slide covers next steps, which outlines the homeowner's journey to a completed solar installation. Before we move forward with this deal, I'll briefly review a few of the top navigation buttons. The printer symbol allows you to download a PDF version of the proposal. Next, we have the Mail button. This is how you may send a copy of the online proposal via email to the customer. You can edit the email to say whatever you'd like. After you're done sending, you can actually send another email if you want to send it to someone else. Just click here and edit the email to send it to a second party. There are two pages which the two arrow button in the top right can go depending on the financing type selected. It will either take you to the contract for cash buyers or to the financing application. Make sure that you complete the form entirely. Verify that the name and the address are exactly the same on the customer profile page as reported by the customer on the financing application. That's a requirement for NTP. Other documentation may be required. You'll hear from us if there are any stipulations. This is an integrated application, so completing this form is going to file a financing application with good leave. The customer will be emailed a loan agreement separately, which you should help them sign before proceeding with the Enerflo contract. This is just a demo, so I'm going to click the skip button up here to go to the contract page. You can add custom notes to the project brief page of the contract by editing this section of the Edit Customer Info page. If you already have a signed agreement, click the Upload Signed Docs button. To send the contract for digital signature via email, click the Sign by Email button. If any number or equipment seems off, you can manually refresh by clicking the Rebuild button. If that fails, use Talk to Enerflo to get tech support to assist. For the purpose of demonstrating the signing process, I'll click Sign in Person and then show you that the process to complete the contract is basically clicking Get Started and Agree, and then clicking on each required signature or initial. I encourage you to read the contract closely and go over the important warranty and equipment information. While you're there with the client, make sure that all of the equipment and financing settings match what have been proposed earlier. We'll just skip through and check all of the acknowledgments and process this deal to show you what needs to take place if we want to make changes after we have signed a deal. This deal will not be able to be submitted without a valid financing application. So I'm going to use this opportunity to show how we can make some equipment changes before finally signing a cash contract so that we can submit the sales team site assessment survey. First, we're going to want to go through the Proposal tab and unselect the signed proposal. This will allow us to make changes. You'll also be able to just void the agreement directly if you're looking at it. By unselecting the proposal on the Proposal tab, it will automatically void the current agreement, thus allowing us to make changes by going to the Design Request tab and then selecting Modify Equipment. So, if we wanted to switch to have no batteries, just click the Delete button next to the selected option. There is also a question in the Adder survey to request a battery. Answer there to keep our operations team in the loop for guidance and evaluation. If you'd like to switch the panel type, there are two critical steps which must be done to connect the EagleView design iframe with the Enerflo deal data. First, click Modify Equipment under the three dots in the top right. Then, we can go to the Settings tab of the EagleView iframe to switch the panel. The Apply All button is not available within the proposal. Make sure you click Sync Design when your changes are complete. When I click Apply All, it's going to go to the default Max Fit design, so we'll need to toggle some of these facets and maybe reorganize the panels. So finally, I'm going to click Sync Design here. Then, if we go to the designs, we can check here that we have an updated design. And in the proposal section, it's now showing red. So what's happened is the max fit design multiplied by the base price per watt exceeds the maximum financing amount for GoodLeap. So again, we'll just want to reduce the system size by removing some of the excess panels on the north-facing roof here. You see it's dark blue? That means there's a lot of shade there, and these two panels are kind of isolated. Once we get the system size under the maximum, we can navigate back to the proposal. The 4 square panel icon pops up a navigation page for the proposal, so you can jump in at any page directly. Also, the pen tool allows you to highlight information, which is great for presenting remotely. There's also sections for notes and files which may have been attached throughout the operations process. You'll see a breakdown here of the costs and system information for the project. Use the Quick Links section to go to the proposal, agreement, portal, and more. A project manager will be assigned during financial QA. All operations milestones are listed here under Install Progress. These will be updated automatically as we achieve various objectives. From the Customer Profile page, you'll be able to view the customer's portal, which is a similar customer-facing Install Progress dashboard. This portal also has the ability to chat with the sales rep or project manager once it has been assigned. The customer portal is shared automatically upon signing the agreement with a link in the welcome email. You can see a record of system emails in the email section of the customer profile page. Once your deal has been signed, you'll need to complete the sales team site assessment to submit the perfect packet information. Here, you'll find fields to provide additional context. Answer questions like where should the truck be parked? Any field which has a red asterisk is a required field. Other fields may be left blank. The next page is going to ask you about an HOA. If you have answered yes, then please provide as much information as possible here so that we may initiate the process of appealing to them. For the following sections, it is much more efficient to take photos directly into the form fields. To demonstrate this, I've gone through and uploaded demo files to each field using a desktop. As you can see, This adds a substantial amount of time to the process. It is much more efficient to take photos directly into the form fields. Log in on a mobile phone or a data-enabled tablet using the Chrome browser for best results. Click on the field, then select Take Photo. Once we've completed the sales team site assessment, you can click Submit Project here, and then we will be getting to work on the financial and technical QA for the project. You'll hear from us if we need additional information.